Hello everybody, welcome to another edition of What's for Dinner on Drew's Food Reviews. Today I'm going to be making this as succulent crab chowder, but only have one can of crab, so I'm going to actually combine it with some clams and see if that's going to be any good. And this also says to do it in a slow cooker, but I'm just going to do it on the stove. And what it says is to have some potatoes and some red pepper and celery, and to cut all that up and put it in the pot and put it with some chicken broth. And I also have some half and half in the refrigerator and cook that up, but you won't put the crab until the end, and you'll actually put the half and half in with some cornstarch to make it thick. So what I'm going to do is cut all the vegetables up and put that in the pot with the chicken broth and get those cooked down. So be back when everything's all ready. Okay, so I've chopped up all the potatoes, peppers, and celery, and I'm going to put them on the stove with the broth and get it ready to cook. Okay, so I'm adding a 32-ounce box of chicken broth to the soup, and I put some thyme and pepper in it already, just a little bit, and then I'm going to go ahead and let that simmer for a little while to get the potatoes and stuff all cooked, and I'll be back. I've also added in a bag of frozen corn to the mix, and like I said, I'm going to let this simmer for a little while and let the potatoes get all cooked up, and then I'll add the rest of the ingredients after everything's done. Okay, so I've cooked it for a little while, got it nice and boiled. It's kind of reduced down a little bit. All the potatoes are nice and tender, and the celery is nice and tender. So what I'm going to do is put some cornstarch in a bowl, and I'm going to stir in it said to put in cream, but I'm putting in half and half. You can use milk, and when this is all done, you can just have it as potato chowder if you don't like clams or if you don't like crab, or you could even maybe put chicken in it as well, make it a chicken corn potato chowder. But I'm going to go ahead and put some crab in it and some clams in it, and I'll let you know when everything's all ready. Okay, so I've turned it down a little bit, boiling pretty fast, and I've stirred up the half and half with some cornstarch, and I'm going to go ahead and add it in a little at a time. And then I'm going to let that cook some more. Okay, adding in the last of it, and went ahead and stirred it up, and I'm going to let that simmer for a little bit to let the milk and everything heat up, the cream, and make a real chowder, thicken up. And then at the very end you add the crab and the clams onto it. They don't need to cook, they're already done, so just going to be a real quick add at the end. Okay, so this is simmered for a little while, got nice and thick once I put the half and half in the cornstarch in it, and the potatoes are nice and tender. Everything's all cooked up, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this stuff in, but if you wanted to, you could just leave it at this point and serve it with some bread or crackers. Oyster crackers would be good. I was not able to find oyster crackers in my store, however, so I'm just going to use either some sourdough bread or some regular crackers, and I'd like to put it in a little bit of hot sauce. So I'm going to go ahead and add the other things into it. And okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add in a can of the crab. Give that a little bit of bam. stir that in. I've turned the heat off so it doesn't get any hotter because it's all done. And go ahead and get that stirred in real good. And I'm gonna add 1 can of the clams. They're diced clams, so they're not gonna be real chewy. And I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Okay, so now here's just a nice little can of Bam. Bam Bam. So put in the clams. That's just a little bit of minced clam in there. Probably give it a little bit extra flavor. And I drained it before I put it in. So here's a nice hearty looking crab and clam chowder. Okay, so here it is, all served in a nice little crock. And I'll go ahead and add just a little bit of my famous Frank's Red Hot on the clam chowder. A couple bams, bam bam bam. And this is gonna go with a nice piece of sourdough bread on the top. So there you go. That's what's for dinner. So thank you for joining me on another episode of Drew's Food Reviews, and talk to you later.